your smile, like the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Safe and
Hello everyone, welcome back to Stormworks Build and Rescue, and welcome to Saturday Showcase, episode 2. So, I haven't done one of these in ages, but I thought it'd be good because we didn't have a hospital ship episode this week, so I couldn't leave this without a Stormworks video. So today we're going to be looking at Holt Hercules. So, this one actually was just finished, or maybe not even finished, in the first episode. When I did the lineup of all of the boats, and it's now finished. It's now good to go. It's been on the workshop for a while. I quite like it. It's probably one of my nicest looking boats. So we'll start with a bit of a tour then. So if we're on the pier, and this pier, by the way, is work in progress. This will be uploaded soon. I'm not sure on location yet, which is kind of why it's being slow. So this pier and this whole kind of environmental mod will be ready soon. So ideally I would have parked this a bit better, but we would have walked down the steps and maybe got onto the back here, or on at this wee kind of gate here. So starting off on the back deck, it's sitting very low in the water because it's got a lot of fuel. We have winches and mooring areas, mooring equipment over here. So we've got ropes literally everywhere because you can never have too many. And then in the center here, we've got a central bollard for towing and a winch, so that we can pull in ropes and all that kind of stuff. Then as we move up the deck, we have a generator. So this generator means that if the boat comes across another boat that has run out of battery or something, it can hook up the generator and sort of give it a bit of a boost if it needs to. So you just grab a cable and plug it in there, and then plug it onto the other boat. It could even be used if you need to recharge this boat, but that would be like a kind of worst case scenario, I think. This here is the auxiliary fuel tank, which I thought I was filling, but it might actually be that I'm emptying it. That's awkward. I was trying to fill it up from the main tank to balance the boat out a bit, but it looks like it's kind of done its own thing here. So the auxiliary fuel tank can hold 2,700 litres, which is good because it means that, say you come across a boat like that and it's out and it has no fuel, you can top it up with fuel and they can be on their way. And then the main tank holds 8,000 litres of fuel, so that's actually given it a range of around 200 kilometres at about 20 knots. Very, very efficient, this boat, and also very fast, which you'll see in a bit. Up at the front end we've got more stuff. So we've got these here, which can be used if you have sort of older boats or older environmental mods that use electric connectors instead of rope anchors. And then you just connect your rope to the bottom of that, and you can use the same stuff up here. We also have anchor controls up here, so our anchor light, which is actually not able to be seen from here, but you get the idea. The anchor light comes on, and you've got your anchor up and down, and then the set anchor. Then we have this, which is a big ugly fuel can, or not fuel, I don't think that'll be very productive, fluid cannon, so that you can put water onto fires. And yeah, this just means it kind of classifies as a firefighting boat if it needs to. It also has firefighting gear, dotted around the boat in the engine room and stuff. Speaking of the engine room, if we go back to here, we have this hatch in the deck, which is flooding by the looks of it. Just close that down in case we sink. Yeah. Let's just turn our bilge pump to get out any water that got in there. Down here is our engine room. So we've got 2 medium-sized engines, and they are just hooked up through gearboxes and all that stuff. Just one gearbox. It doesn't do anything fancy really. And then we've got our firefighting gear here, and that is about it. I can hear what sounds like a jet. It's not. Oh, I know what it might be. It might be the helicopters, because we now have AI helicopters. Let's see. Yes, it is. That's cool. That get a bit of noise around the place. Although probably should have disabled them for this recording because it'll add lag and that kind of stuff. In here, then we have the sort of access down to the accommodation, which is down there. I was thinking of also adding in a hatch on deck for that, so that you don't need to go through this door, but that's not important at the moment. Yeah, in here you've got just random kind of stuff. You've got welding torches, you've got your underwater welders, you've got another fire extinguisher, some first aid kits, a light strobe in case you're working in like challenging conditions and there's 2 of you. If you have the light strobe on, then it means that once you fall in, you can turn that on and the other person can find you. Down here we have a bit of a sort of rack of stuff here, and in here would be where we would have like a dinette or something, but because I did this as a kind of starter boat, I wanted it to be as cheap as possible, so I didn't add that in, but it's something you can add in. There's space for, there is space for it here if you want it, and you've got all your stuff here, and also a wee window so that you can see into the fuel tank. Make sure there's nothing sort of in it. It shouldn't be. We then have a heater as well, so if it's a bit cold, if we're working up in the Arctic, we can turn on the heater and warm ourselves up a bit. So go back from there, we come into here, which is full of water. That's awkward. Okay, it should be draining out nicely. In here we have more firefighting kit and an actual kitchen. So you can kind of have 2 areas of kitchen if you wanted. And we've got more first aid kits and a radio and a defibrillator in case we need to do first aid on anyone. And that's basically all that's in there. That would kind of also be like the office or whatever for if this was working offshore or something, they would need a wee office or something. That's what that could be used for. Then we come into the heart of the boat, which is the wheelhouse. So up top we have our sort of gauges and controls for the engine, so buttons to start the engines, and then we've got all our information about the engines. Then we've got a repeat of our fuel display that we have down there, so that you can kind of quickly look up and see. Then we have our nav lights, which we don't actually need all of them on at the minute, and some bridge lights, deck lights, and deck spotlights, and a searchlight that can go from left to right. And then up here we have individual kind of controls for stuff. So if you want to have the winches working but not all the instruments, you can have them on. If you want to have the chargers for all the heaters and the handheld gear on, then you can do that. And then also you can turn off the fire pump, which will reset all that kind of stuff. We also have a signal locator, so this is in case you're doing search and rescue. Now obviously that's picking up ours at the moment, but if there was another one, then it would come up and it would tell you that you're 400 meters away and that you're sort of in the right area. Where is that helicopter? It's very loud and I can't see it. I wonder if it crashed somewhere. Oh, it's landing. Oh, it has crashed. Has it crashed or has it landed? Yeah, it is definitely crashed. It has lost its rotors. That's good. Shut up. Okay, back to the boat. So, back on the boat. Can't think of anything else that there is to show on the boat. I think we've covered everything. How's that tank doing? Oh, that has got significantly worse. Okay. My attempt at balancing the boat was completely futile then. So, let's untie and we'll get on the way and do a bit of a sea trial. Now, where did I get... Oh, I got them ropes up here actually. That's where it was. Okay, so I'll put this one into here. Probably should have started the engine first before untying, but it's a game, it doesn't really matter. So, up here, start up our engines. And they also have a little generator on them to charge the batteries. Now, one thing I don't like about this boat is that it reverses terribly. It does not like to reverse. It becomes very unbalanced if you try to turn when you're reversing. Now, we have... See? How does that even happen? It just doesn't like it at all. I think it might actually be the... I know what it is. It's the... Oh my goodness. That's not good. It's the stabilizers I installed. Well, that is just fantastic. Alright, spawn another one in. Let's just ignore that one for now. I might try and recover it later or something. So, I'm actually injured here, so I'll need to use a first aid kit, which is handy because I have so many of them. This is also a good opportunity to show this off. Oh my goodness. Is that him? It is. He's trying to start up his helicopter again. So, this mast here, as you can see, is folded down. So that means that when this boat is like in the workbench or whatever, it can fit inside the starter workbench. So it's a very good kind of starting boat. It's good because it's cheap and capable. So yeah, that just folds up and then you can fold it back down again if you need to fit into the workbench or into like a low bridge or something. So let's just start everything up again, and we'll try not to reverse this time because that obviously went terribly. Now, we'll get to see what I meant when I said this boat was fast. Like, this is a multi-cat. These are supposed to go maybe like 15 knots at most. But this one can go 40. Yeah, I know. Not very realistic, but pretty cool. So yeah, 44 knots. The only problem with that is that it gives us a range of just under 50. So it isn't the most practical, but if you're only going 50 kilometers, then why not go a bit faster, as long as you know you can get fuel when you arrive at your location. Now, that stabilizer system there that kind of caused us all the problems does actually keep the boat fairly stable. It does rocket like very, very rapidly, but I'm sort of working on that because this is a sort of aftermarket thing that I've only added recently. So yeah, the boat sits fairly level when it's turning now. Originally it kind of would lean a bit, but now that we've got the stabilizer in, it's fine. And also when you then crank up the weather a wee bit, it can handle that pretty well as well. Just keeps it nice and level. It does kind of slam a wee bit, but that's to be expected, I suppose, this kind of size of boat. So yeah, there we are down to 30 knots or 30 kilometers range. But then if we back down to maybe like 50% throttle, still going 25 knots, but we now have a range of, well, it's kind of fluctuating, but at least 100 kilometers. So you'd get to the Arctic no problem. Just takes a bit longer. I think the Arctic, if I remember, is, yeah, I think the Arctic is 100 kilometers away. So if you're cruising along at this speed, you're gonna get there no problem. There it's up to 300 at times. So any other cool features then? We have the mast, obviously, which has all the kind of lights on it. We've got our restricted maneuverability lights. We've got then not under command lights, because if this is like a kind of commercial boat, I think you need all of them. Although it is only 12 meters long, so it's really, it could probably do without them. But I just added them in because why not? So also have a few seats up here, so if you have any survivors that are needing kind of accommodated, then you've got plenty of room for them. So yeah, I think that's covered about everything. Obviously we saw the boat being towed in the sort of wee cinematic thing I did at the start. So yeah, the boat can tow actually fairly well. It's fairly capable of towing boats. It's still able to keep pretty high speed with boats up to about its own size or a bit more. can still do maybe 20 knots. It just depends on how well it's rigged up and stuff, but that's kind of the same for most boats. And then also the firefighting, so you'll also have seen the fire getting put out, although I did have to go on with an extinguisher because I didn't quite park close enough to it. So yeah, that's about it with this boat. It is on the workshop, as I said. There'll be a link to it in the description, and possibly in a wee card that'll come up now. I don't know if it did or not. Hope it did. Yeah, so links in the description if you want to check it out. Be appreciated. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a little thumbs up, and also subscribe if you're new. I will be doing more of these videos because I'm kind of stuck for ideas on the hospital ship, so we'll do more of these videos over the next couple of weeks. So we'll get the Saturday showcase going again and go through all my boats. And also, I've had a few people suggest maybe looking at workshop boats as well, so cool workshop items that I think would be a good thing to have, or a good thing to kind of use for certain modes. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you check out everything in the description and all that kind of stuff, and until next time, bye bye.